Hello, everybody. Okay, so we in episode 3 of Prison Talk in the Sisteration Room, and with our special guest for tonight. But before we bring them on, I'm Cookie, your host. And if you wonder what makes Prison Talk so important to me, it's because I'm also justice impacted. In 2012, I pled guilty to white-collar charges of fraud and was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison. And you can catch my story on BET Plus, American Gangster Trap Queens, Season 3, Episode 7. And so our show here at the Sisteration Room is a little different. It's more about the actual emotional tax that we pay being incarcerated, and the emotional tax that our loved ones pay from being incarcerated, and and the cost in that being reimbursed. So the Sisteration Room is one of my favorite places to be. So I'm so happy that you guys can make it here. And this is like therapy for me, and we need it, especially those of us returning to society, and for the ones that were waiting for us to come home. It's good, it's all good, and it's necessary. So therefore, now I am an advocate for therapy, very necessary for all of us, because if we don't suffer from prison trauma, we're suffering from generational trauma. There's a whole lot going on in our Black and Brown communities. So we are going to have a good conversation tonight. And let me check out who's in my chat room before we bring on our guest. Hey, SK88, how you doing? Thanks for coming through. Mistress Kush is Tom Pumps is our moderator, and our regular moderator. She couldn't be here tonight. She might pop in later, but Mistress Kush is a moderator, and a moderator that steps in for me whenever I need her. So I appreciate her. And Layla is also, she's she's a moderator in training, but she's more my program manager than anything else. So I appreciate Layla. She's new to this. She's new to the Sisteration Room this season. And so my chat room family. I know we got Celeste coming through. Oh, Celeste, there you are. I just knew you would be here. How you doing? All right, before we're getting ready to bring them up. For the YouTubers, thanks for being here. Subscribe, hit that bell so you can know the next time we have our next episode. And in the Sisteration Room is where the conversation happens. Again, not so much the mechanics of what happened and how we got through it, but the emotional tax that we all paid and how we get reimbursed. So let's go. I know y'all are waiting. I kept my intro short this time because I know y'all are waiting to meet our guest, and I'm excited that they're here. They are so adorable, and they are here with us. And let me bring them on. It's America's hottest couple from the cast of Love After LockUp, and it is Michael and Juju.
What's up, Kiki?
How you guys doing?
I mean, we're doing pretty well right now. I'm happy that my baby's expecting a baby.
Oh my God, I know. Juju, you're expecting a baby. You guys are expecting a baby.
Another one to add to the group, yes.
I know. That's 8.
8, yes.
That's 8, girl. That's awesome. So are you all going to do you plan to all become a family under the same roof at some point? Is that in the talks at all?
It's kind of hard to answer that question because I do have other baby mothers, and they like being with their children. So I don't want to be the guy who says, I just want all the kids with me. So I'm just trying to be fair about the situation.
Yeah.
I already have one of my kids living with me right now. So yeah. So right now, I've already added one to our bunch. So.
But we look forward to summers and school vacations
exactly.
and things like that. We get to see them a lot.
Yeah.
That's so good. I get, when we watch, I'm just going to touch on the show real quick because this is, we know that's where we're seeing you guys. And I just want to touch real quick on just the love that emanates from you guys. It's like, and I've seen a blow up But it's
You know, I just want to clarify something because there's a lot of misconceptions about our relationship. Number one, it's not perfect. A lot
No.
of people think, that we like we're just too good to be true, or they're just doing it for TV. No, I love the shit out of this woman. You know what I mean? And she basically reciprocates that love, and that's why we're so good together.
yeah.
But we do argue just as much as
Yeah.
we love each other. We argue, we disagree. We don't agree on everything. Especially, I'm a male, she's a female. Our feelings and emotions are different. Our patience is different. Our parenting is different.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of differentiations when it comes to me and her because of our experiences in life. I've been through this, she's been through that. So we're just trying to figure out how to make it all work.
But I feel like we meet good in the middle. This is still new. We're still working things out. We're still learning each other out here in this world. But I feel like we're doing a really good job thus far. And, the kids seem to be enjoying it. And, I'm happy and happy.
I'm so glad you guys said that right up front, from the very start. Relationships are hard. I'm not a relationship guru. Let me be clear, but I know that they take work, and like you said, Michael, you're a man, she's a woman, and you guys just, you think differently, you parent differently. That's the real important thing right there, parenting differently. So you got to yield to him, Juju, and Michael, you got to yield to her because she's mommy. Oh, I got chills because that's so like, I think I got the chills because my son, it has my grandson. I have one grandson, right? But they're really good parents together. And that right there is what's necessary for the children. That's my opinion. It's necessary for the children to have both dynamics, the dynamics of the two of you. So I love that. I'm rooting for you guys. I'm rooting for you guys.
Yeah.
And I know it's not easy, and it's, you guys will argue. You definitely will argue for certain. So what we got going on? I'm checking my chat to see what's going on because they said, "Oh, they're so cute." That's my chat. And I'm telling you, you got so much love out here in the community. Like my age group watches the show.
That's good.
Yes, and they love you guys. And it's good when you can emanate, when other people can feel the love that you guys have for each other. So it's
Right.
dope. Well, we're gonna get into some questions because I know I have some questions. And I'm like, well, should I be waiting for somebody to come home or something? Well, we're going to get into these questions with you guys. So give me a second here. All right. So I know like the meeting was kind of different, right, Juju? The meeting was different. It's not like you guys were pen pals. And when I say different, because a lot of that goes on again, I was behind the wall, so I get the pen pal thing. But do you want to tell us, Juju, how you met?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I worked with Michael's mom back in Rhode Island, and we became friends. We bonded over a whole bunch of different topics. She was just really great to work with. She became one of my closest friends. And out of nowhere, probably like 4 or 5 months into our friendship, she mentioned that she had a son. And it was during the time where I had just started back dating again, and I was like failing with the dating game. It was going horrible for me. So I would come into work and I would tell her these horror stories about my dates. And then all of a sudden, she just told me that she had a son and he was my age. And I was thrown all the way off because we had been friends for a couple months and she had never mentioned him at all. She mentioned her grandkids, she mentioned her daughter, she talked about her family, but she never mentioned him.
Wow.
So after a while, she told me about where he was, and I think that that's why she didn't really want to tell me that she had a son. You know what I'm trying to say? So when she let that out the bag, I wasn't really worried about it. I wanted to meet him anyway. I had no clue who he was. We lived in the same state, and I was probably the only one in the state who had no clue who this man was. So I looked him up, and when I seen his picture, I was like, whew, yeah, I have to meet him. So I did just that. I had his mom put a little 3-way phone call together, and once I heard his voice, that was it for me.
He is handsome, that's for sure. And Juju, you are adorable and cute.
He is gorgeous.
Thank you.
That's cool. So his mother trusted you to introduce you to him.
Yes, yes. You
Did
know,
I hear? Did I hear that she thought from your friendship, and then she mentioned you and
right. Yeah. She thought I would be good for her son. She thought I was a very good mom, hard worker, good woman altogether. So, she didn't hesitate to kind of put it out there for me.
Yeah, because that was the thing. My mother kind of knew. I would talk to my mother a lot about a lot of things. So she kind of knew what I was looking for in a woman. I would always tell her, like, I need a woman that's responsible, that's going to take care of her business, that's going to, not be scared to do the mom duties and the wife duties and the side bitch duties and everything. Just want to be the team player, because it's hard to find that in a relationship. And she just kept telling me about this woman who was just so involved with the kids and hard worker, always picking up double and triple shifts. And so I finally said, you know what? Let me talk to her. Let me see what's going on. Because being in prison, I didn't want to have a relationship. I mean, you know how that is. It's hard to. And I didn't want to put anyone through that. That's the honest truth. I wanted somebody there, but I didn't want to be selfish and put someone through that, knowing that it would bother me if they were out. It would bother me to hear them have fun just because I'm stuck.
Yeah.
But we met, and it was just like I never wanted her to leave.
Oh, so of course you guys met. I'm like a sucker for love, right? I love love. So but so when you guys met and you saw her did you see her for the first time, or you talked over the phone or you wrote? Like, what was that?
Yeah. So what happened was Justine wrote me a message, but I already knew the message was coming because my mother asked me, "Hey, can she write you?" And I said, "Yeah." So she wrote me, and I replied with a little stupid joke saying my name was something else, and she was confused, like, what the hell's going on? And then, I just said, "Hey, I'm just joking. My name is Mike. Nice to meet you." And we started talking. A couple days later, we finally got on the phone and we started speaking. So I would always call my mom and say, "Hey, is your friend around? Put her on the phone." And we would chop it up for a little bit. So then I finally asked her for her number, like, "Hey, let me get your number. Let me put you on the list." And she immediately said, "How do I put money on the phone?" And you know how it is, Cookie. When you in there, you hear people say that, you all the way lit. You're like, okay, you want to put money on the phone? Okay. So
That's right.
you know how that is. The money on the phone is a big thing.
Hustling is hard inside. I mean, if you ain't selling some desserts, which is what I did, if you ain't selling desserts, you're doing something else to make real money. So
yeah, that was it. We started talking, and then literally 3 weeks later, she drove up. And listen, I was in Pennsylvania. She was in Rhode Island. They're right near Massachusetts, right on the line.
Right.
And it was about a 9-hour drive. So she would make these drives like if she lived 20 minutes away. It was unbelievable. If I tell you how many times she would come see me in a week, just drive down, see me, drive back up, go to work, drive back down, see me again, drive back. I didn't understand how the hell she was doing it.
Wow, that's that woman for you. How about that?
Yeah.
So listen, the challenges. I want to first. You know what? I want to tap your music just before. I want to tap it now, and I'll tap it in the end. But your music, before we even go further, is I have listened to, and I wish I could have played it, but you can't have it on YouTube and the drama, right?
Yeah.
So I love your song. What's the name of it?
Don't care.
The one that you just put on.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care. I love that. That's hot.
Thank you.
That's definitely hot. So I wish you all a success. And I heard you had said in one space that all I need is one mega hit.
Yeah.
And I understood what you meant. Now other people may feel like you meant, and you can tell us what you meant, but other people may feel like you meant that one hit is all you need. But the way I took it is that one hit and you're gonna ride that wave.
Yes. You see, one hit.
Because one hit ain't millions unless you make it make millions.
Thank you. You know what I meant by that was I was just saying, in other words, all I need to do is be recognized by the great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once I'm recognized by the mass majority, I really don't care about who don't like it, because like I tell all the time, not everyone likes everyone. So,
right.
I might like a certain rapper and I don't like the other one, but the other one has as much fans as the one I like. So when I hear about, oh, he's trash, or I don't like it, that shit don't bother me because I know how ignorant people could be, and I also
Mm-hmm.
know that I'm not gonna appeal to every single person. It's
That's
impossible,
right.
Right.
you know.
And it,
So I've been doing music for so long to the point where I've been immune to all that. That doesn't bother me anymore. You know
it's
what I mean? And I'm able to keep creating and putting stuff out, whether I get 100 views or I get 100,000. I don't care. I enjoy making the music.
that's
So whether it's me and my family that's gonna bump it in parties, we gonna bump it. You know what I'm saying? If the world want to tune in and bump it, I appreciate it. But
I'm
I
with
really
you.
do. I really do it because I love it. And I mean, we in the studio right now. This is a little setup that we just put together,
nice,
and
nice.
I
Juju, you
live,
got him
breathe, and music.
home.
Huh?
I said, Juju, you got him home with the studio.
Yes,
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 see, I am winning all the way around. And this
Yes,
wasn't
you
my
are.
idea. Many may be like, oh, I made him. No, he wanted to do this. He wanted to be able to be, in his zone whenever he wanted to. And, I'm supportive of it.
That's dope. That's dope. Now, now you did. Now, when you were in the studio, did we hear you? Was that a cipher? I mean, was that a was that a freestyle, or was that something that you are you a freestyle rapper?
no,
If
no,
you
no, no, no. So basically, like there's difference between people who freestyle from the top of the dome. Eminem, you just
right,
I wish I
right,
was that talented, but you know what I'm saying. That was written, and
okay,
when we say freestyle is like something that's not put to anything, and we could use it on anything. I
yes,
can speed it up, I can slow it down, I can literally take those lyrics that I wrote a cappella and apply it to anything. So
yes.
it's just stuff that I've written down. So when a person says, "Hey, let me hear you spit," or "Let me hear some shit," I'm able to give them that with no
Okay.
beat or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope though. That's dope. I was like, wow, that's yeah, that sounds cipher type. That's
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Okay, so going back to you guys meeting and how that whole thing panned out. Like, what were the challenges? I know like there's a lot of people that would want to know what kind of challenges you face. With a relationship. Oh, maintaining the relationship. So we already know Juju saw the picture. She fell in love. She couldn't wait to see you, and she saw you, and you guys fell in love. So that was great. But what about how did you guys sustain a relationship like that? And I know in federal, y'all, just in case whoever's listening doesn't know, but you only get 15 minutes on the phone. Hello, somebody, and you start talking fast like this, and it's like, hold on, wait a minute. So how does that work? How did y'all sustain a relationship?
So basically, I always say that I think my faith grew so much stronger when I met Justine because at that point I'm rebellious. I hate the world. I get treated like I'm a scum when I'm not. I know I did some messed up things, but I'm a human being like everyone else. When you're in jail, Cookie, they treat you like whoever's in there. You all get treated the same.
Yeah.
So you know, I really wasn't too cool with God at the time. And when she came into my life, I started thinking like, how was it that I literally asked for someone that fit that criteria? This couldn't be done any other way but God. You know what I mean? And that's really how the whole relationship went on. I just kept having faith and telling God, well, if she's gonna stay, she's gonna stay. If she's gonna go, she's gonna go. It is what it is. And whatever I learned from this experience, I take with me into the real world and apply it. But I wanted to be as real as I could with her because I knew that the only way to make this work is being honest. I knew if I was talking to other girls or doing shady shit, I would have lost her. And I wasn't willing to take that gamble,
But I
you know?
also feel like I knew exactly what he needed during this time. So I made sure I was very consistent. I was always there if he needed me. I showed up when I said I was going to show up. I was on time. I sent pictures. I made sure he had food. I've never missed a phone call, never missed a visit. I just made sure that he knew like that I had his back 100%. And, my faith wasn't wavering either, that I was in this with him.
Cookie, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't understand how she did it. And sometimes like I just lay in bed and I just stare at her while she sleeps and I ask myself like how the fuck did she do it? From, you know, the visits to the phone calls to the pictures and like she just everything was taken care of. And I told myself like I'd be damned if I come out and treat her like shit or play her. You know what I mean? Nah, like she's my heart, man.
But you know what it was? So she was my friend, and I didn't want to let my friend down. I wanted to know, like, that he had somebody that he could count on in like the worst time of his life. Even if we didn't, end up being together for the long haul, I wanted him to know that during this time, you have somebody you can lean on, and I'm always gonna be here for you no matter what.
Oh. Michael, I'm just like you. Like, how did you do that? Like, I guess I'm saying that. Like, were there a lot of letters written? Did you guys write a lot because
Yeah,
of the
we
phone
wrote letters,
situation?
and also with the tablet. Did you have the tablet where you were at?
No, in a
Well,
federal prison.
yeah, we had a tablet in the state prison I was at. We had a tablet, so we were messaging each other through a messenger, you know, and we would write each other every day. But I was basically buying phone pins every month, so I would have 10 different phone pins, so I could call her 10 times in a row back to back. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So it
things
came
have
to
changed.
yeah,
And
so it came to a point where the guards, the unit managers, the staff, the security, they were just like, yo, if you're looking for Prasad, he's on the phone. Because I would sit by the phone for 2 hours straight. And there's a line of dudes, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm talking to my baby. And we would talk back to back to back to back to back to back to back
so
every single day, Cookie. Every single day.
wait, I love it. I'm kind of interested in this phone situation. Like, how did that happen? Because you said 6 years, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
was gone for what? My sentence was 10. I just came home in 20. So when did this phone situation change? Like, we never had that. It was 15 minutes, and then you had to wait 30 minutes in between time.
Okay, so where I was at, it was 15 minutes, but then you have to wait a whole hour to use it again, and you only get 3 a day. So basically, what I did was I bought 10 other phone pins. You know what I mean? So I was able to call her.
Okay.
I was able, so I would pay everyone. I would pay dudes weekly that weren't using the phone, and I'm like, yo, let me get your number, let me get your pin. I'm gonna put this number on there, so I'll be able to call back to back.
Do that.
You can't do that. That's my point. You know what I mean? But
you can.
no, you can't.
Oh, that's right. I was like, wait a minute.
No, you can't do that. But because it's basically a breach of security, how they look at it. But
That's how it
when
is.
I'm telling you, everyone in the jail knew this woman. Everybody, every staff, everyone knew her. You know what I mean? So they just let me be. They honestly let me be.
Oh wow, that's so that's dope. Again, like you guys are a special breed, right? Because that it didn't have to be like this when you came home, Michael. It didn't have to be like this, Juju. I mean, it didn't have to be. You know what I mean? So, Juju, what made you believe in your heart? Like, how did you know he was really coming home to you?
I just knew. I just felt it when I seen him for the first time. The way that he looked at me, I knew that there was like a connection there I had with nobody else ever, and I just believed it. We were seeing each other for about 6-7 months at the time when COVID hit, and then we went 2 years and we didn't see each other at all. We didn't see each other again until we got married.
Yeah.
2 years later. So for 2 straight years, there was not a picture I'd seen of him. There was no video visit. There was no in-person visit. It was only his voice over the phone for 2 years. And I sat there and I waited by that phone every single day. And, my life was just revolved around him. And I just kept my faith every single day. There was hard days, where I was crying myself to sleep, where I was wondering why this was happening and that it was so hard and unbearable at times. But, I wasn't letting him down. There was no way I was going to walk away. So.
Yeah. When did you come home, Michael?
October 7th, 2022.
2022. Okay. So yeah, that was 2 whole years that you were in that whole COVID situation.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, just to add a little insert on what she said, just to elaborate a little bit, in there, you have nothing but time to think. So your mind creates these crazy scenarios, and you start to, even though you have something good, you start to question it. You start to, it's like the solitude does something to your mind. You know what I mean? And I hired a private investigator. You know,
He's so
and I'm gonna tell you why I did it.
Appreciate you
I'm
being
gonna tell you why I did it. So she never gave me a reason. I felt so bad because I I felt like I was questioning her integrity. You know, and I would never do that again. But I just, being in there, not being able to see her for a couple months, she's telling me everything is good, everything is taken care of. I'm not hearing no funny business. You know, she's doing everything she's supposed to. So I hired a private investigator because I'm like, yo, I'm gonna find out what's really going on. So I call this guy and he charged me like $1,700 to start this, this little couple weeks follow. And when I called the guy back, he was like, hey man, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you know, it's a waste of money. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I already sent you the file. This girl just goes to work, take care of her kids, go to soccer games, goes to karate, goes to the supermarket almost every day. He's like, she's not doing anything, man. And I felt so dumb because for 2 months I had someone following her around, taking pictures of her. And I had a stack of pictures like this. And they were just like if it was paparazzi following her around. They were just picture her getting out the car with the kids, picture her getting in the car from work, getting out the car, going into the market, coming like towards the jail just to drive by the jail. He said it's been a few times. She never told me this, but he said a few times she drove by house there. And I was like, why would she be driving there? I don't understand. And then he said she would just park for like 10 minutes right by the jail. And later I realized that she was just going there to be close to me, and she told me that's what it was. And she didn't want to tell me because she didn't want me to feel like she was wasting her time going over there. And it's like, we live 55 minutes away from there, so it was an hour drive just to stand outside and wonder what block I'm on and what I'm doing, and it's crazy, man.
Yeah, listen, the chat is like, oh, and they're like, it's about the honesty and at least, and he says, and they say that at least he was honest about it, and I appreciate that, because a couple of things, Juju. I get the connection. I understand. Just from one woman to another, I understand that was just one way to be close to him. Even though you had him in your heart, but I get it. And for you, Michael, I understand that too, because I know, I didn't have a relationship while I was away. But I had my babies, my sons. I mean, they're grown. My oldest one is older than both of you guys. But those are my hearts. You know what I mean? Those are my hearts. So in rock bottom, you never know what rock bottom is. But I knew I was their rock. You know what I mean? Gotcha. And no matter how old you are, you always know. So when a rock gets snatched from you, I was like, oh my God. What's going on? If I don't hear from them, what's going on? And prison is a devil's playground. That devil will dance around in your head. Juju, you are really a special woman for understanding and accepting that it wasn't that he doubted you. The devil is busy, sweetie.
Right.
Period.
But you know what it was too, Cookie? I'm gonna be honest with you. I knew I was going to come home and be good to her. I knew that I was going to come home and turn this shit the fuck up. So I said, you know what? If I'm going to start building an empire, it's going to be with a strong woman. It's not going to be with a chick who wasn't holding me down. Right. Because for you to be playing in the sheet and then playing the phone with me, it's not cool. Right. And I didn't want to come home to that situation and be like, feel betrayed and deceived and then just basically revert back to my old ways, like, you know what, F women, I don't care, you can't trust them, and all the way I used to think,
Yeah.
And she changed my train of thought, and she basically changed my perspective for life.
And I'm praying it's life. I'm praying it's life. I'm rooting for you guys. And so yeah, I definitely want to speak on that connection part. And how you guys stay connection. And what other, did you guys have video Skypes in there, Michael?
No, well, at a point, because me and Juju's visit got taken away because we got a little too handy in the visit. so they you can't do too much in the
It's the
visiting room.
feds, Juju. You can't do that at the
You know what I'm
feds.
saying? So
They don't
they
play
took my
those
visits
gappers
away,
like they do at the state.
and they took them indefinitely because they were like, yeah, no, this is not happening again, whatever.
It wasn't like overly sexual. It
It
wasn't
wasn't.
anything like
I
that.
know.
It was me holding her in an inappropriate spot for too long. You know what I
And,
mean?
and,
And
and, and to the people out there, just so y'all, I understand. Because I could hug my son or my grandson, and it would be too much, and they want you to separate. So
exactly. So what happened was it was a group of people, and I felt like, damn, I could get my fill on for a second. You know what I mean? So I squeezed that ass, and it felt so good that I didn't want to let it go. So I'm hugging her, and I'm just holding on to it. And the guard was like, "Hey, Fasad, that's enough." And I'm like, "Yo, give me 1 more minute." And then, they got upset. But it was the worst thing I ever did because I suffered so much because of it. But, I would always tell her, like, "Hey, man, if I had a chance, I'd squeeze your ass again." But, you know,
But I think we needed that to happen. I think he needed that to happen so he can see that I was real and that I was going to stick by him
no
even
matter
if
what.
shit hit the fan. Like I was going to
Yeah.
be there regardless. I feel like if it was easier and I could come see him every single day for the whole bit, then he would have probably just
Made
figured it was
excuses.
something else.
They would have made excuses. Oh, well, he was coming up to see me.
Yeah. So
And
it
at a
was
time,
good.
she was my punching bag. Like, there'd be times where I would get into a situation with people, and I used to tell her, like, it's hard for me to get on this phone and go from aggravation to happy mode with you. So now, instead of appreciating the fact that you're on the other end of this phone, I'm nitpicking at shit. I'm saying, well, yo, did you send that? Oh no, I have to go get the kids to do this. Then why didn't you know? Why didn't you do it, man? And I would realize, like, later, I'd be like, damn, like, I was just taking out my frustration on her. And
Yeah.
she sat there through that shit. And like I said, man, I really don't know how she did it.
And that became really hard too because I was by myself. I was alone. I had already moved out to Pennsylvania. I had no family out here. It was just me and my 3 children. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have anything. So for those 2 years, all I relied on was us on the phone. So when he would take anger out on me, it would really, really affect me and it would really bother me because, it hurt.
Yeah. So you understood though at the end of it all.
Yeah, I knew what it was. I knew it was displaced anger. You know what I mean? But it still bothered me sometimes.
Yeah, wow. And it's good to, Michael, that you recognize that you were taking it, because I know you had to come to a point where you talked about it and you
Yeah.
had to apologize, right?
Yeah. I was apologizing a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Wow.
But, like I said, it got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to push her to the point where she breaks. I want to see if she has that. And I did.
The chest.
And she never broke. Titanium, man. She never. And I'm like, yo, this girl is resilient. There were times where I was like, she's not going to pick up. When I call tomorrow, I know I went too far. This is it. No. Did you fix up? Did you fix up? Did you said you want to talk about what happened last night?
If there was a time where it would be too long where he didn't call, I would just call the jail and be like,
Yeah.
have you seen him? I would go as far as connect me to the block, connect me to the counselor. I'm like, hi, it's me. Is everything okay?
The counselor will come to my cell. Like, there's people who can validate what I'm telling you because there's dudes that are home now that say what's up to me on social media. And sometimes I bring them in on live just to talk about what we've been through in there. And they can tell you. The unit manager used to come knocking on my door. Hey, listen, man, you got to call your wife. They used to come knocking like, hey, Juju's calling. I'm like, oh, shit. Juju, hey, you got juice like that?
Yeah, I want to know if you're okay. Because when I want to hear from you, I automatically think the worst. And, it's hard to sit here and wait. So I need to call him. I need to.
That made all the difference, Juju. Honestly, those people behind the wall, and I'm talking about the employees, when there's nobody for the person behind the wall, if there's nobody there calling, caring, checking for them, and it's a whole other ball game. And I know that, Mike. It's a whole other ball game. It's like you can go to the hole, nobody knows, and they know nobody knows. Sometimes you get mail, sometimes you don't, because they'll take the mail. They'll just mess with you because you're behind the fence, and you know, it's really sad for people that don't have anybody, standing strong for them. And I'm
Would you
talking about even more so than family, because family's not going to ride the way your woman would or your man would, you
you know
know.
would you agree with me? Like, it's a totally different world in there than out here.
It
And
is.
I used to tell her, like, it's easy for you to say, just relax or just chill, or I'm like, yo, you don't see this shit. You're not dealing with this shit.
Yeah.
And I would always downplay what she's going through just because I felt like my situation was worse. But in reality, she was locked up too. She was just doing what she had to do to sustain the living. Like, I gotta go to work. I gotta take my kids. I gotta do the Christmas, the Thanksgiving. I have to because I can't put my kids through that depression. I can't
Right.
lock my kids up too. And I understood that. I never gave her no issues about that.
Right. Right.
And I never had to deal with her saying, oh, it's my girl's baby shower. I'm going to a party. I'm going to go drink for a little bit. I had a rough day. None of that. She literally sat by the phone and waited for me to come home. And
Mhm.
that is otherworldly. That's why I say, God was at work, and he's still at work because we're just
Yeah.
getting better. We're getting further in our relationship, and other things are happening that people don't know, but they're just so freaking good that it's like when they see it, they're gonna be happy.
That's super awesome. But you said you something you had said. I wanted to comment on, and you said something about them coming to this. Oh yeah, that made all the difference. That just made all the difference in the world to have somebody to support. What now? Okay, so we got the fuzzy stuff, and we got the love and all of that. We want to stay right there because that's the tie that binds, right? But for people that are listening, that this show is about bridging the gap between society and our returning citizens, right? And so you guys have, I will say, I mean, you seem to have done that so well. And I know it takes a lot of understanding, and it takes a lot of giving of yourselves, both of you, because you come home, Juju's there, Juju needs something from you that you are more than likely not even aware of. And maybe even that you are aware of it, you don't know how to give it. You know what I mean? And you don't realize how much of it she needs.
Yeah.
And the same and the same for Juju. You don't understand either how much of what he needs, and sometimes how to even give it. It's like it's not just because you're man and woman, but because one was behind the fence and one was not. And it's a whole other puppy. And I will say this, that I've lived a whole, I lived a whole life. I was older when I went inside, right? And even older now. So, and I want to say that being inside is a whole different puppy. And I don't want to measure a difference, but there is a difference when you're on lockdown. Because I knew you guys were on lockdown as well, right?
Right.
But there's a difference when you're on lockdown and you can go to your kitchen and you can cook something that you bought from the grocery store. It's a difference when you could just pick up your phone and call your mother or your girlfriends, and you can have a conversation. There's a whole other discipline when you are behind that fence. Like, you have to suppress not only who you are, but how you feel. It is crazy, and nobody gives a damn. Ain't no kids in there giving you no hug. Oh, mommy, we understand. There's none of that. There's none of that. So to be able to be there for each other and y'all find that balance, that is, please, can you tell us about that?
I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, I can, but you see, like what you mentioned, that's what we do go through. Like, honestly, we're still figuring out where I lack in the real world because the phone world was perfect.
Yeah.
We could do that all day. We were doing it for years, but now we're here. And my attention seems to focus on other things like, damn, I got to get this for the kids. I got to hurry up and get this ready for the house. I got to get into the studio. And then sometimes she's like, hello, like, where do I fit in? Then I'm like, oh
Right.
yeah, but damn. But it's not because I'm trying to neglect her. Or I'm trying to just continuously do things and leave out the loop. It's because I'm playing catch up. I'm trying to be there for every single kid that I was not there for. I'm trying to relearn them because now they're different little characters. When I
Right.
left, they like certain things. Now I come home and they want boyfriends and girlfriends, and I'm like, oh, 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 hold up. And it's crazy because, like you said, being in there and not having those things, those hugs, those kisses, and those time, that time to grow with them gradually, makes you feel even worse because it's like I literally lost out on 6 Christmases, 6 birthdays, 6 Thanksgivings. You know, first day of school, recital,
Birth of your children.
birth of my children. You know what I mean? And it's like I remember seeing my son for the first time through the federal glass. And that shit killed me. Like he just put his hand on the glass. The shit was like a movie scene.
Oh
And
my
he
God.
didn't know who I was. He was a few months old. He didn't know who I was, but I'm just like, holy shit. And it really fucks with you psychologically. It makes you look at things differently. And me, that's why I appreciate life differently than other people. I'm like, you could ask her, like, I'm all about, hey, let's do shit with the kids. I want to be with the kids. I want to be with the family. I don't give a shit about friends. I don't give a fuck about no hoes. I don't care about none of that. Like, my mind has reprogrammed itself to kind of focus on what really matters in life, which is the people who are there for you in good and bad. You know what I mean? And she's that. My family, as like you see on the show, my family is like that. You can ask them. Like, the minute anything's wrong, we group, what's up, who needs help, what's going on. It's how we've been forever. So that support is still there. So when I came home, the support was there. It's still there. She supported me. That's still there. So
Right.
the transition was easier for me. But to say that it's perfect, it's not. It's not. There's a lot of things that we go through that we're still trying to figure out. I mean, I want you to elaborate on your side a little bit so they can understand what it is that you feel like you miss from me.
Um, I think him coming home in general, like I was waiting for it, and as much as I prepared for it, I wasn't prepared like I thought I was. You know what I mean? Having him actually here, watching how he does everything, because everything was a first. I was not with him before he went to jail, so
Right.
everything was a first. And I'm just watching him, trying to get used to a man being around again, get used to having another adult around again, get used to sharing things again. Because for 3 years I didn't have to. It was just me and my children. I didn't have to like answer to anybody or, you know, take anyone else really into consideration like that at home. And I have to do that with him. But there's a lot of things that came along with him coming home that I didn't didn't realize was going to happen. Um, one
Like,
one for instance, he was he was all over the place when he came home, and I kind of knew that was going to happen. But there were times in the middle of the night where he would wake up. We need to circle the house, look around, see if there was something. He came back with anxiety, and just from all the things that had happened there. Uh, he was kind of to himself. It took a lot for me to kind of pull him into it, let him know that he's safe, and let him know that he's in a safe space with me and that we're going to be fine. It took a lot of extra support, things that I just didn't know were going to come along with the package. But I'm glad that they did. This is life. I'm glad I can still be here for him in a different way. He still needs it. Um, but as for me, sometimes I'm just like, finally, someone's here, and I want to have that attention and make up for that lost time. And when he gets really busy, I'm just kind of like, and sometimes I kind of feel like I'm still in the waiting room, and that can be hard. But I know that he loves me. I know that he's making up for lost time. I know that he is spread very thin. And that's okay, because I know he's not going anywhere. He knows I'm not going anywhere. And I know he'll circle back around to me, and it's okay. You know,
you said something that was like that you said sometimes it feels like being in a waiting room. Is that kind of like does he drift off into a distance where
it's
you're
like
not part of that space?
he
Because my
has
it's not
so
like you're
many
not here,
things,
Mike.
so many things going on. The kids, the music, the show. just himself, getting back in touch with himself in the regular world. That sometimes I feel like I'm just sitting there waiting for my number to be called, and it eventually does get called, but sometimes I can be waiting there for a little bit. But that, I guess, still just is the part of how it is. And
what do you do in that space, babe? What do you do in that space, Juju, when you feel like your number is waiting to be called? What happens in that space?
I kind of feel like I'm just there. Like I'm just there waiting. And it can be like emotional because it's like I see him passing by. And sometimes the way I've explained it to him before is like when you come home and like your puppy is sitting there and it's like wagging its tail and you walk by with just like a pat on the head. Like sometimes it feels similar to that. But I know where his heart is, and I know the type of man that he is. I know it's not, purposely done. But
Michael, is that a man thing, or is that a coming home from, the Iron Gates thing?
Well, yeah, no, it's definitely coming home. It's just a coming home thing because, like I said, I'm like playing catch up. So, right now what we do is kind of like on a schedule. On the weekends we go out with the kids. Lately I've been recording every single day. So every day I gotta go to the studio, and I tell her like, hey, I gotta do this because I'm trying to put this album together. There's a deadline. The summer's coming. Shows are coming up. Things are happening. So, I'm trying so hard to balance all of that. In the process, we're searching for a new house because we're about to buy a home. So I'm doing that as well. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about a business venture that me and her have been thinking about. I'm looking for location for that. So when she says that, like, it's the passing, it's like me just in the living room with the computer. Then I'm upstairs on the other computer. Then I might be in the bathroom for 30 minutes, but it's because I'm on my phone, sending emails, doing something. It's like I get stuck in these places because I'm trying to reel everything in.
But it has been hard though, because he'll invite me to the studio daily. He would love for me to be at the studio with him. He would love me to be doing all these things with him. But with the pregnancy, it has been so hard. That first trimester wore me out. You know how it is. I couldn't get up out the bed. I'm throwing up. Can't keep the food down. Need an IV. So it wasn't the time for me to be in the studio and things like that with him. So that was, another part of it.
Wow. Yeah, that's. Hey, Curious Joe. I just want to say hi to the people that came through the chat. My regulars, my Twitch family. What's up, Bam Bam? That's still, to me, it's like it's a hard space. It's a good experience though to have to go through. It's a good learning how to share your space with somebody. Juju, did you live with your other children's father?
The first one was a high school boyfriend, and we have not been together. My daughter just turned 18 the other day, so we haven't been together in 18 years. I have two sons with an ex that I was with for 12 years or so. We did live together. It didn't work out. We co-parent to the best of our ability, and
So you've been a single mom for a long time.
I've been a single mom for a while now. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Mysterious DJ, I see you. Yeah. Yeah. So that had to be tough, like bringing Michael into the space, huh? Like sharing. Like I'm just like, was it scary?
I was scared a little bit, only because he's a real dad. He's like one of those real dads, a real good dad. He's on top of his stuff. And I can't necessarily say that my children have been able to have that in the past. So I knew that this strong man dynamic was going to be coming into the house. Right. And though I know especially my two sons it's the right time for that. They need this now. But that's not what they get with mommy. I'm a whole different ball game. I'm a lot softer. I'm hugs and kisses and all the other stuff. And I know that Michael is here to help me help them become young men, because I can't do that for them. And I was a little nervous about that. Letting go of the reins a little bit and sharing my children with somebody when I'm used to running everything, controlling everything, and doing everything like that. I was nervous about that, but I'm so grateful because, like I said, he really is an amazing dad, and my kids have just been growing and benefiting so much from having him around, and it's been great.
Has it been a year? Has it been a year yet?
No,
It
for
hasn't
me
been a
being
year
home,
yet, right?
no,
22, October
no,
22, you said.
October, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whew. I mean, still, it's still. Well, I mean, it's still new, I guess,
Yeah,
but
that's all it is. Cookie. Like I said, look, when we're gonna be living and we're in that house and everything is running how it's supposed to, then there's way more time for us to do whatever we want to do. But I
right.
gotta make sure that everything is where it needs to be. My mind thinks in chronological patterns. I cannot skip things. I can't, like, my brain doesn't process like that. So when I start something, I gotta finish it and I gotta do it right. You know what I mean? So I over obsess about a lot of things that I'm into: the real estate, the businesses, the music. And it's like, well, I'm spending 2 hours on real estate, 2 hours on learning about credit repair and all that stuff, 2 hours on studio. That's 6 hours out of the day. Then the kids come home and I'm playing with them, wrestling, taking them places, and then it's like, once again, Juju's not working anymore. So she's home for all of it.
Yeah.
She's like, babe, you want to watch a movie? All right, let's watch a movie. But I don't neglect her. It's not like I
No,
neglect her. It's
no.
just that I feel like even though I'm home, I'm at work.
Yeah.
That's really it.
You're an
You know?
entrepreneur, it sounds like. I mean, I can relate like completely. That's just what I do. So I get it. I get it, and I get that there's no neglect. I didn't hear any neglect at all. So
No.
if you feel like that, which you can feel like that sometimes, but as long as you and talk to the kids and make sure they understand that you're not ignoring them, that you are working, and then when you go into your new home, hopefully you will have a door you can close that indicates office, so they will get a visual understanding of what, because your kids are still young, so yeah. But yeah, no neglect, no, nothing but love, and busy, and today is different from I'll just say from before, because while it's important as an entrepreneur to think, not for nothing else, I wrote a program, the Spirit of Entrepreneur. You may not know, but I have, my business is repurposed thinking, and I have two programs that I wrote. One is repurposed thinking for the returning citizen, and the other is the Spirit of Entrepreneurship, because I've done it many, many, many times, right? But it is a hard balance, though. It's a hard balance. It's a
It
hard.
is. And it would have, like I always tell it would have been easier if I came and I got a regular job. It would have been easy because I work the hours, come home, I'm all yours.
Hmm.
But the job I'm doing don't stop. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? The job I'm doing really don't stop. So there's times where we go to sleep and I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I just can't sleep.
Yeah.
So for another 2 hours, I'm researching. I'm literally learning. When I do something, I learn everything about it, so I do it right. So
Yeah.
I'm constantly just studying, and when I execute, it's magnificent. So I tell her,
Mhm.
let me do my thing right now. Let me just figure all these things out, because you know what? For the last 6 years, I've had to be secluded in a cell, confined with no information. I didn't know anything about what was going on in the world for real, because they only tell you what they want you to hear. I don't know how technology is now. There's a lot of things that I got to relearn to make myself feel like, okay, I'm back. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's only been a few months. We've been doing good though. We spend a lot of time together still and stuff like that. But as a female, I know that there's no such thing as a lot of time.
Listen,
You
I
know?
gotta pause for 1 second before we get there. I'm like, it's so into you guys, right? But Twitch is another puppy. It's a whole other animal, right? And so the people are showing us, y'all, me, us, so much love. We just got raided. So if you're not familiar with Twitch, when they raid into you, it's like their show that they had was over, and so they're bringing whatever whatever their chat room had, however many people in their chat room, they're bringing them to your chat room. So
Oh
we just
wow.
got, yeah. So we just got rated. How you doing, Pink? Pink Assassin 74. Thank you, Author Javonda, for the raid. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, you guys. Thanks for coming through. And we're just sitting here kicking it with Michael and Juju from Love After Lockup. They are truly like, like super refreshing. It's really good to be in a space where people really love each other for real. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And again, it's still new, but then how new is it, right? Because you guys had a relationship for how long
3
before?
years. 3 years
two
and some
years.
change. Yeah.
So you sustained a relationship without touching, without hugging. You squeezed her ass on the visit, but okay. But I'm just saying. So you
Yeah,
had
like there was no like in our relationship, it was all like this learning. So I think the reason why our relationship has the dynamic that it has is because we had 3 years to learn each other. We had a significant amount of time to talk about everything, learn what ticks her off, learn what ticks me off. Can I deal with it? Yeah. Can she deal with it? Yeah. All right, cool. Let's move on. Let's continue to build. Because that's all it is. This is how bad it's gonna get. So if you could deal with me getting like this, then we cool. Because I could deal with you getting like that. So we good.
I'm
You
gonna
know
give
what I'm
you a
saying?
little bit more credit though. It takes a lot more than that. And what you guys have is an understanding and a love that's strengthening that understanding. You're taking the time to understand what each other needs, because there's plenty of people that come home after 2 years of getting to know each other, and it doesn't happen. Sometimes they don't even come home to the person.
Yeah,
You
but that's what
know,
I'm saying. Is because I feel like they weren't being real in there. Like if you were all about this person while you were there, there's no way that you're gonna come home and just stray like that because that person's everything to you.
Right.
So if you were to come home and lose that person, you'd feel lost because like damn, even though I was in there, she was there. Now she's not. So it feels like a breakup, even though I'm coming home and I'm at the disposal to the world now that the world's at your disposal, but still that piece, that important piece is missing. And the only way that piece is gonna be straightened is if it's real, if it's honest, if it's beautiful, because honesty is beauty.
it is, and I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm enjoying it. Oh my goodness, it's again, it's refreshing, and that you guys are in the process of getting through. I hope you continue, reaching to understand each other, because it doesn't just happen, as I'm sure you know, right? But what advice would you guys give to other people who might be missing their significant other while they are incarcerated, and what kind of support can be useful during this time to somebody that's listening that is part of a relationship like that?
I think the best advice that I can give somebody is just continue to follow your heart. If this is what you really want to do, block out all of the other commentary, block out all of the negative, and really just focus on your person, focus on your own personal growth, becoming a better person for them when they come home, and don't let anybody steer you off your track. With me, I cut out a lot of things, whether it be friends or parties or things like that. I cut out those things, and there was a lot of people that had stuff to say. I always got that, well, he's in there, you're not. He put himself there, you didn't put yourself there. But this is what I wanted to do. This is the way that we made it work. And if you can find a way to make it work and stick it out, then I suggest you do it, because this was the best decision that I ever made. I don't think I've ever been happier, and I would do it all over again for sure.
And Michael, you speak to that. I got another question for both of you guys after that, but go ahead and speak to that, Michael. First, let me say it to my chat, because I'm just loving them right now. They're so in it,
Yeah.
SKA. I see you guys. And thanks again, Pink Assassin, for coming in. First time in the chat, and Author Javonda for that. But I'm gonna kick it with y'all after. Yeah, Michael.
Well, my my side of things, I think, is patience. I think you have to have a lot of patience to be in a relationship like that, and a lot of understanding because the other person on the outside is sacrificing. So you have to show gratitude. You know what I mean? You got to be grateful for them even picking up the phone. Like I used to tell her, I'm grateful for you even just talking to me because this alone makes me feel better. You know, so patience, gratitude, and understanding because the understanding is where everything is gonna mesh. Like, okay, well, she has to do it because of this. Okay, well, damn, babe, why can't you come see me? Oh, babe, because I gotta pick up a shift. But why you gotta pick up a shift? Because I'm speaking on the phone with you and it's costing a lot of money. A lot of dudes don't want to hear that shit. They want you to figure it out and still show up to the visit because I was in there with them. So I think you have to have a lot of understanding because
Yeah,
there's a lot of sacrificing that comes into the outside party waiting. Because
yeah,
for you, she can't tell whether you're sacrificing or not. They can't because you're just in there. So like
right.
I tell her, the fact that she sat and waited to see what I was gonna do, because I could sell her a dream. I could have told her, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, come home and ran off with the next chick because that's what a lot of dudes do. But she believed in me so much that she waited, and I'm glad that I was afforded the opportunity to show her like that I was standing by what I was saying, and that I was gonna come home and be a good man to her and the children, and that no matter what, I'm rocking with her too. She did it for me, I do it for her. And that's what it is, you know?
That's so super awesome. Oh my Rebel, I see you, sis. Rebel came through. You gotta come on to Twitch, Michael. You gotta come on to Twitch with your music and stuff. It's a whole other, it's a whole
My
other.
son got that. My son was talking about that Twitch stuff. Listen,
Really.
I'm so like,
Somebody
I'm
mention
so
it to you?
old. I
huh?
know how to do it.
Did somebody mention Twitch to
Yeah,
you?
my son's like, hey, dad, get a Twitch. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. Right now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even want to be dealing with the Instagram or any of that stuff. That's why, like, the TikTok looks dry. I want to do dances, where, like, we really want to do that. But I don't got the time to do no TikTok dances right now. You know what I mean? So I told her, like, yo,
After the baby, we'll
after the
work on
baby,
some
we
After
gonna
the
work
dances.
out some
baby,
moves.
and you gotta check out my TikTok. You know I'm on TikTok, and I'll be doing my TikTok dances. Okay,
Okay.
but I represent the 50 plus club because we over 50, but I'm still doing those dances. I don't care because I can. That
Definitely,
part.
definitely.
But so wait. So I want to the one question I want to ask you both before we get up out of here is I know you mentioned your house and some other working on your album, but like what kinds of before I go there, therapy. How do you guys feel about therapy?
Well, I I really like the whole therapy thing. While he was gone, I was in therapy just because I wanted to make sure I could be the best person that I could be for him. I wanted to figure out past traumas. I didn't want to repeat mistakes. I just really wanted to work on myself, and seeing as how I had all that time, that's what I was choosing to do with it. It did work out pretty good for me. Uh, I always think that even if you don't have all these crazy issues, that therapy can still be a good thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah,
always have to be because you have a problem. It can just
yeah.
be to continue doing good, continue learning, and I found it very valuable for myself.
Yes, I'm definitely advocate for therapy or coaching, and of course, I think I shared with you, Juju, that I'm a life coach with a niche in entrepreneurship, which is where my Spirit of Entrepreneurship class program came from. Michael, how do you feel about therapy?
I don't like it because I just I don't know. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I have no problem saying how I feel to the person that I'm dealing with. So I don't feel like I have to sit down with someone and tell them what I want to tell somebody else, or tell them how I'm feeling when I'm literally always expressing how I'm feeling. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I don't think there's nothing wrong with it though. I'm not saying to anyone who goes to therapy that it's wrong. I'm just saying that I like to express myself
In the
like
moment.
to the people I deal with. So I don't feel like I bottle stuff up to the point where I feel like I gotta, hey, I gotta go talk to someone because he's driving me crazy. And I tell the babe, come here, I'm not feeling that shit. Like, you know, that's
Whereas
just what it
I'm a
is.
little different.
She's a little more reserved.
I'm a little bit more different when it comes to things like that, and I feel like I've carried a lot of past traumas with me along my journey of life.
Yes.
And during that time where I just had myself, I just thought that that was a good time to start, combing through some of that, because the last thing I wanted was to finally feel like I met the person I really want to spend my life with, and I can't enjoy that the way I want to because I have all these like monkeys on my back that I just can't seem to get rid of.
Wow.
Another thing is like my experience with, I wouldn't say therapy because I didn't really take therapy, but like what I've heard from people is like, your therapist might tell you that you're doing something wrong, but you feel like you're not, or you're strongly opinionated about certain things. So a lot of people might say that our relationship is toxic because they'll be like, everywhere, because I see it all the time. Oh, everywhere he's at, she's there. Everywhere she's at, he's there. No, what do you mean? We've been separated from each other for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to do is be away from her. You know what I mean? So she's my plus one everywhere, and that's what it is. If you see me, you're gonna see her. And like I tell people,
there's a TikTok for that. If you see me, you see her. If you see her, you see me. That's my bestest of friends.
For real. And
I need to
that's another thing too. Juju's not just my wife; she's my friend. So I want her to be there. That's my plus one. Before anyone else is invited, I got somebody come with Juju. So people are quick to comment and say stuff like that, but they don't understand that their relationship, they had all that. They had the time to be running around with the boyfriends up and down, and spending the night over with the toothbrush, all those pretty little things. They had the opportunity to do that. We didn't. So we're doing things in reverse. We got married first, never had sex, all these things that people don't do anymore. People aren't getting married before sex and stuff like that. So we did it like a real traditional way, I want to say. And, like we're just, I don't know.
It's a good thing though, because that baby came
right
away.
I pray and God continues to bless you guys' relationship. I respect what you both said about therapy. Some people feel like it's for them. Some people feel like it's not. Some people are not sure. I think a lot, Juju, you've gotten so much from it. I think you're in it for the reason that I would suggest somebody go for it is the generational trauma, is the stuff that you don't want to carry forward. Pink Assassin in our chat said, it teaches you how to communicate. So I like I said, I am an advocate for it, especially for those reasons. And Michael, I respect your space because you talk about your stuff whenever it's stuff, right? Whenever it's stuff, you just talk about it, and that's great too. And I think with having a best friend and somebody that has gone through therapy, you got it anyway.
Yeah.
You get you get it anyway. So I think that's great.
Well, her therapy went very well because she's a very confident woman. Let me tell you, man. And I think that's another thing, though. I think that she doesn't elaborate on is how confident she was that she was going to be able to do that time. Because she told me the first day she met me. The first day she met me, she said, "Yo, I'm going to be the one picking you up outside. I hope you know that." And I laughed and I said, "All right, we'll see." And she's like, "No, I'm telling you, I'm in it for good. I'll be here." And she was there. So
she was in that cat suit too.
Yeah.
You look beautiful, Juju. Yeah. So before we go, the goals that you guys have for the future, and if you want to share that, we would love to know, like, your plans toward the future.
Okay. I'm just looking forward to the baby coming, expanding our family, enjoying time with Mike. I'm actually really looking forward to just watching his success. I really feel like he deserves it more than anybody. He's been through so much. And, I just want to be on the sidelines. I just want to cheer him on. I want to be there for him. And that's really what I'm looking forward to most.
I'm looking forward to.
Well, first of all, Juju, you're not on the sidelines. I guess you're right beside him, right? You guys are together.
What I'm excited the most about is, like, being able to do the whole daddy thing again. Because with Mason and Nova, I wasn't there for that. I missed the bottles and learning how to walk and the potty training and all those things that I love to do. I missed that. So now I'm able to do that all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like with jail opened my mind to expressing myself on my music a little more. Because before I used to just talk about stupid shit I was doing, obviously, selling drugs and all that dumb shit. But now I'm able to kind of tap into myself and kind of be like, you know what, I'm gonna share what I went through. I'm gonna express how I'm feeling. And this is what the music is gonna be now. It's not just gonna be shit that people want to hear. It's gonna be how I'm feeling. Because I want to give them me. So I'm looking forward to being able to, show the world and show the fans and show the people who become fans what I've been through, our experiences in life. And also, all the little things we're doing that I don't like to talk about because I'm very private about certain things because I don't want people salt on it,
Yeah.
I'd rather them throw sugar when it comes out. But we have a lot of things in the works, and that's why I said right now I'm taking all the pieces and forming the picture. So hopefully you're around to,
And
see how it frames
I'm
up.
cooking the baby.
And see, that's all I need her to do. Cook the baby, play with the baby, put the baby in dance, have fun with the baby, and let me do man thing.
I'll just, you know what? You guys are great. I mean, you guys are really great. I sincerely, from the depths of my heart, wish you the best. I hope you do come back to the show at some
point. We definitely will.
Yeah, we want to check up on you.
Yes, and I definitely appreciate the opportunity.
Is this your first? You guys' first interview
together? Yeah.
Yes, it's our first one.
Yeah, y'all heard it first here in the Sister Rachel.
Got it, exactly. It's our first interview together.
Thank you so much. And your music, I sincerely like it. I don't say I would, because I know how to not speak on something that I don't want to talk about, right? So I don't. I like your music. I like that cut that I heard. It was dope, and I wish you the best with it. Keep moving, and Justine, everything that he says is precisely about entrepreneurship. That's what he is. That's exactly what he is. And I got that from this conversation. It's all the time. It's 2:30 in the morning. It's like, oh shit, what did I forget? It's that. So, God bless you both. Thank you. Congratulations on the baby. And keep in touch.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
You got all my numbers.
You have my number, Cookie. If you have anything going on, you can add us into, or like I said, if we're in your city or whatever, we'll just link up. Let's go out to dinner soon.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna look forward to that. And then wherever you guys are, I don't come out that way too often, but I do come out to Philadelphia. That is Pennsylvania. I don't think that's too close, but anyway, we'll work it out though. And we definitely will do dinner. I love it. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys. God bless your union. It's just amazing what can happen after the worst, right?
Definitely.
Oh my God.
I tell all the time, I found my light in the darkest place.
That's right. Well, to God be the glory. God bless you guys. And we'll talk.
Thank you so much.
Amen. I love you.
You're welcome. I love you guys too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You can click that X where it says leave studio.
Later, Coach.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Wow. Okay, y'all. That was, wow. That wasn't, I just appreciate them. I appreciate it. I appreciate them as a unit. It's just like I said, it's amazing what comes out of the darkest of places. Like Michael said, how you doing, HQ Gunner? Now, let me kick it with my chat. So YouTube, hit subscribe. Do come back. We'll be back next week. And next week we've got a brother that has a finance company. He had done, I believe, 10 years. He's going to talk to us. He's a barrel of energy. He also had a relationship while he was away. His didn't, it didn't quite make it, but he's in a good space. So YouTube, join us please next week. See you then.